What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and today I have a very strange deck profile for you guys. I never thought after all the years I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I would ever do this, but I have a Toon deck profile. This is actually kind of a weird one, but it's so fucking good. So what's cool about the Toons is that they each is that a lot of these have effects where you can actually special summon them from your hand without even conducting the normal summon. And truth be told, there's only a few that can be normal summon, but you're not going to be doing a whole lot of that. So it's a pretty cool deck. Kind of weird, but it's so good. The extra deck is pretty nutty. The side deck is just as nutty. But hopefully you guys are ready for this deck. I'm gonna post the deck list on my Instagram, so make sure you guys follow me there. The link will be in the description below. And let's get straight into it. First up, we got 3 copies of Toon Blackluster Soldier. This is actually post-Toon Chaos. Post-Toon Chaos current meta. If you can actually believe it, but it does run a few of the new cards that were in Toon Chaos, and it uses up a few additional cards as well. But BLS has the effect where it reads, cannot be normal summon or set, must first be special summoning from your hand by attributing Toon monsters from your hand or field whose soul levels equal 8 or more. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack directly. Once per turn, if you control Toon Whirl, you can target a card on the field, banish it. Also, this card can attack the turn this effect is activated. So, basically, hang on, guys. Sorry, guys, my hands are dry. I gotta put lotion on my hands. So basically, this is a much more revamped version of the Ritual BLS. And the Effect Monster BLS that was from Invasion of Chaos. So what's cool about this is that it's basically BLS Unifrog, where with Unifrog it can attack your opponent directly just right off the bat. And then the BLS effect, you banish one of your opponent's cards, and that's it. Even though this card can't attack, you can actually still use it. You can actually still use it as a 3,000 beat stick on board, which is pretty cool. Speaking of 3,000 beat sticks, we actually have 1 copy of Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. I never thought that this card would be useful in this format, but it's actually pretty cool. Cannot be normal summon or sand. Must first be special summon from your hand by attributing 2 monsters. While you control Toon World, cannot attack the turn. It is special summon. You must pay 500 life points to declare an attack with this monster. If Toon World is on the field, is destroyed, destroy this card. Can attack your opponent directly unless they control a Toon monster, in which case this card must target a Toon monster for its attacks. Yeah, they really didn't word it so well, did they? You're wondering, what do I mean by that? This was actually released in Magic Ruler back in 2002. So, yeah. But basically, but what's cool about this is that it's another 3,000 beat stick on board, and it can you can even also attack your opponent directly as well, which is pretty cool. Not much else to say about that. In fact, I think I'm actually gonna switch up the extra deck. I think. You know what? I think I will. I'll switch up the extra deck here in a second. Yeah, I have an idea. I'm gonna switch up. I'm gonna switch up the extra deck. I humbly apologize. Guys. I'm sorry. I will be switching up the extra deck a little bit. Yeah, I think I'll take that out and do this. There we go. And then I'll add this. Guys, I apologize. I'm just like so out of it right now. There we go. So I did decide to switch up the extra deck a little bit. I knew that I had some level 8s, so I was just like, all right, I'll switch up the extra deck just so it's fair for the level 8s. For the level 7s, I got 3 copies of Toon Dark Magician and Red Eye's Toon Dragon. So Toon Dark Magician is actually pretty cool because it has 2 different effects. It has 2 different effects. One of which you can activate. You can either special summon a Toon monster from your hand, from your deck, except this card, ignoring all of its summoning conditions, or you can add a Toon spell or check from your deck to your hand. So it's kind of like a Cyber Rev system of sorts, mixed in with Spell and Trap Rhoda. But its first effect reads, cannot attack the turn it is summoned while you control Toon World and your... Cannot attack the turn it is summoned. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no tunes, this card can attack your opponent directly. That's the first effect. The second effect actually has two separate. So because that your opening hand will indeed feature a lot of Toon spells and traps, you're most likely going to be activating the first one where you're able to special summon a Toon from your deck. In which case could very may well be Red Eye's Toon Dragon, which has a very interesting effect. This was released in Shining Victories back in 2016. Times fly fast, my friends. Times fly fast. But it has the effect where it says once per turn you can special summon a Toon monster from your hand except this card, ignoring its summoning conditions. So it has a sort of like the Cyber Dragon effect of sorts, which is really good. Really good. These two together just work hand in hand, and it can help you summon Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon, which I'm actually running in the extra deck, which is pretty cool. Then, of course, we've got, again, the Red Eye's Toon. I already talked about it. Not much to say about that. I am running 2 copies, though. Speaking of Cyber Dragons, we have 2 copies of Toon Cyber Dragon. So what's interesting about this is that the effect reads, if your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Cannot attack the turn it is summoned. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no tunes, this card can attack your opponent directly. It dawned on me that you can actually, and you know what? I'm gonna do something else. You can actually, funny enough, you can actually use the Toon Cyber Dragons to summon Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon because it's a machine. It's technically a Cyber Dragon, which is actually pretty nuts. It is really nuts. I'm not so sure if you're able to summon I'm not so sure if you're able to summon a card like say Cyber Twin Dragon. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to look into it. When I decide to update the deck a little bit, but still, being able to summon Chimeric Fortress Dragon right off the bat, that's actually pretty cool. And then to round out the Toons, we have 3 copies of Toon Mermaid. This card is mainly in the deck to summon your Bahamut Sharks, because obviously the mermaids are water, and Bahamut Shark requires 2 water monsters. So Toon Mermaid's pretty cool. It's a nice way to get go into your Bahamut Sharks, but its effect is actually kind of basically similar to Blue Eye's Toon Dragon, where it says, cannot be normal summon set, must first be special summon from your hand while you control Toon World. So this card is similar to Blue Eye's Toon, but it's a little bit different. Cannot attack the turn it is special summon. You must pay 500 life points to declare an attack with this monster. If Toon World on the field is destroyed, destroy this card. Can't attack your opponent directly unless they control a Toon monster, in which case this card must target a Toon monster for its attacks. So I mean, 1400 attack, 1500 defense. It's decent, but you're mainly going to be using the Toon Mermaid for your Bahamut Sharks and your other rank 4 plays, which is pretty cool. And then to round out the Toons, we've got 3 copies of Toon Harpy Lady, another new card from Toon Chaos. This card is absolutely nuts. Cannot attack the turn it is summoned. If you control Toon World, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then, if you control another Toon monster, you can destroy one spell trap your opponent controls. You can only use this effect once per turn while you control Toon World, and your opponent controls no Toons. This card can attack directly. So, what's cool about this is that it's basically MST. It's basically an MST for the whole deck, which is just absolutely insane. And then to go with the Red Eyes Toons, because there's a theory with the Toon strategy. There's especially with Red Eyes Toon Dragon when it got released, there was a theory that if you play Toons and you don't have a way to go to summon Red Eyes Toon Dragon, you can actually use the Blackstone of Legend, which I am running only 2 copies, mainly because of the fact that I needed some extra room for the spells and traps, which I am running quite a few spells and traps, just so you guys know. But funny enough, you can actually use the Blackstone of Legend to summon Red Eyes Toon, which is actually insane. So if you don't have any way to summon Red Eyes Toon Dragon, if you don't have it in your hand, the Blackstone of Legend is like your number one, is like the main normal summon that you're going to be using in this deck. So with this, you normal summon the Blackstone of Legend, trigger its effect, tribute it to summon Red Eyes Toon Dragon, activate its effect, summon out Toon Dark Magician, use up Toon Dark Magician's effect, and then just overlay them into Flare Metal Dragon. Or what you can also do is just keep them on the field, so you have more board presence on the field, which would be pretty cool, pretty cool. But moving on into the spells, I am only running 1 copy, and I know I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but I'm running only 1 copy of Pot of Prosperity, and the reason why I only chose to run 1 is because of the fact that you're gonna be seeing your Toon spells and traps in your opening hand no matter what. So the idea with this is you're gonna be using your extra deck quite a bit. So there's really no need to run multiple copies of Pot of Prosperity. But I will admit, but I will admit though, there's actually a way you can bring the monsters back into the extra deck, and that card is actually in the side deck, which is pretty cool. Which is actually pretty cool. So that's why I chose to only run the one copy of Pot of Prosperity. Is not just because of the fact that you're going to be using your extra deck quite a bit, but even if you do banish the cards that you need, that you want to summon, there's one card in the side that can help you bring him back, and it'll help you further your play. So Pot of Prosperity, awesome card. Don't get me wrong, it's an awesome card, but there are so many downsides to it. So that's why I only chose to run the one copy. Then of course we got the one copy of Called by the Grave. I don't know why this card is still at 1. This card should have came back to at least 2. Shoutouts to Starbucks though for the coffee. Not sponsored, just love Starbucks. Anyway, yes. Again, sorry guys, I am way off track. One copy of Called by. I don't know why this card is at 1. This card should have went up to 2, maybe even stayed at 3. I don't know what the hell Konami was thinking. But I guess they love hand traps. But still, the one copy of Called by, you want your plays to go through, you know, and because that you're gonna be doing a lot of special summoning and a lot of searching. Cards like Nibiru, Ash Blossom, Ghost Bell can really be a pain in the fucking ass. So the one copy of Called by is the best card to use. And yes, as always, I am using dueling. I am using Nexus on my laptop. So I do apologize if I can't show you guys, but you guys can always follow me on my Instagram to see the full deck list, and you guys can always comment below, and also comment on my posts your thoughts on the deck. But again with Called by, you want your plays to go through. Next up, we've got the one copy of Double or Nothing. Yeah, you pretty much guessed it. I'm running Utopia. I'm running Utopia. The extra deck is kind of weird, but it's pretty decent. Now moving on to the Toon Spells and Traps. First up, we got 3 copies of Toon Table of Contents. This is basically your Rhoda for the deck. So all it says is add 1 Toon card from your deck to your hand. That's it. So if you don't see Toon Kingdom, so if you don't see the card that you need, you know, such as like Toon Kingdom, Toon Table of Contents is one of the big cards that will help you get into your Toon Kingdom, and then you can go ahead and activate it and just go for it. Next up, we have, and speaking of Rhoda, we actually have 3 copies of Toon Bookmark. This card is absolutely insane. So the effect reads: add 1 Toon World or 1 card that specifically lists the card Toon World in its text from your deck to your hand, except this card. If a Toon World or worlds you control will be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish the card from your grave instead. You can only activate 1 Toon Bookmark per turn. Excuse me. So what's cool about this is that you can activate Toon Bookmark, add Toon Kingdom to your hand, activate Toon Kingdom, banish your your 3 cards, and if your opponent were to activate a card like, say, Cosmic Cyclone or whatever, Toon Bookmark basically just protects it. So it acts as like a Return of the Dragon Lords, but for Toons, but for Toon World, which is really cool. Really, really, really cool. Next up, we have 3 copies of Toon Page Flip. This is sort of like your Pot of Duality of sorts, but what's cool about this is its effect. It reads: If you control Toon World, reveal 3 Toon monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to special summon, ignoring its summoning conditions. Also, shuffle the rest into the deck. You can activate 1 Toon page flip per turn. So you're most likely going to be going for BLS, Blue Eyes, and Dark Magician. Those are like the 3 main ones that you're going to want to target. Or you can go Red Eyes Toon Mermaid, Toon Harpy Lady, and your opponent would potentially end up choosing Red Eyes Toon. In which case you can trigger its effect, special summon Toon Dark Magician, and then trigger Toon Dark Magician's effect, and then just pop off like that, which is just absolutely insane. Next up, we have a card that is actually nuts. I did not think this card would be good, but it's so good. Comic Hand. If you guys have never seen this card before, this was released in Dragons of Legend 2, which I might open up, in which I don't know if I can get a box of it on Amazon. I'll have to take a look. I'll have to take a look on Amazon. Hang on, guys. Let's see. Dragons of Legend 2. Here we are. Let's see how much. Wow. Okay. I guess not. An entire display box is $250. That is absurd. And for just one first edition pack, it's $20. Oh my god. That is absurd. And the price and the prices for some of the singles are just absolutely insane. Like Toon Mask is like $10, and Toon Mask reads, what's this effect? If you control Toon World, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon a Toon from your hand or deck whose level is less than or equal to the level or rank of the monster, ignoring some conditions. So it's basically a way to So basically, with this, it's a way for you to easily go into your Toon BLS, or any of your other tunes. It's not too bad. But it's like decent. It's decent. And then you've got a card like Toon Masked Sorcerer, where Toon Masked Sorcerer reads cannot attack the turn it's summoned. If Toon World is on the field, is destroyed, destroy this card. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no tunes, this card can attack your opponent directly. If the card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, draw 1 card. So it's a way. So with a card like Toon Masked Sorcerer, it's a way to get more hand advantage, if you will. But anyway, that being said, Comic Hand is actually really cool because it's actually an equip spell that reads if you control Toon World, equip to an opponent's monster. Equip this card to an opponent's monster, take control of it. It is treated as a Toon monster. If your opponent controls no tunes, it can attack your opponent directly. If Toon World is not on the field, destroy this card. It's basically Snatch Steal. This is basically your Snatch Steal for the deck, which is just absurd. And not only that, it counts as a Toon. But not only that, this is another way that you can actually use this card to go into your plays depending on what you have, which is just absolutely insane. And then to round out the spells, we got 3 copies of Toon Kingdom. I don't have to say any more about this card. This card is just absolutely busted. In fact, I think the time the first printing of this card, I think, what was it? I think it was Dragons of Legend 2, if I remember correctly. And so what's cool? So if you guys have never seen this card before, when this card is activated, banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down. This card's name becomes Toon World while in the field zone. Your opponent cannot target 2 monsters you control with card effects. If a 2 monster or monsters you control will be destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down for each of those monsters instead. So this is basically your Dragon Lords, your return of the Dragon Lords for the entire deck. Where as opposed to Toon Bookmark, it's a Dragon Lords for Toon Kingdom. So these 2 cards together work hand in hand. It's insane. Moving on into the traps, we actually have what? 3, 4, 6, 8. We have 8 traps. We have 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. What's cool about this is that if you mix Torrential with Toon Kingdom, it's basically a one-sided Regeki. It's basically a one-sided Regeki, which is just insane. It is just absurd. I don't have to say anything else about it. Not much else to say about it. We've got the 1 copy of Waken the Dragon, and you guys are wondering, wait a minute, why are you running Waken the Dragon? Trust me, once we get to the action deck, you will understand. You will understand why I'm running this card. This card is busted. Even now, to this day, it is so good. Then, of course, we've got the 1 copy of Toon Briefcase. This card is unique. This card is very, very unique. So the effect reads, when your opponent summons a monster or monsters while you control a Toon monster, shuffle that monster or monsters into the deck. So this acts as sort of like a compulsory evacuation device, but instead of adding the cards back to the hand, it goes back into the deck. So this forces your opponent to go back. It's as if this card forces your opponent to go back a turn, so to speak, which is pretty cool. And then for the counter traps, we've got 2 copies of Toon Terror, which is just absolutely absurd. This is basically the Solemn Judgment for the whole deck, where it reads, when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, while you control both Toon World and a Toon monster or monsters, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. So it's basically Solemn Judgment, which is absolutely insane. And speaking of solemns, we got 1 Solemn Warning. Moving on into the extra deck, I'm actually gonna go from Links to Fusion, because I want you guys to be surprised with what I have in store for the extra deck. But there are no links. There are only Xyz. There's 1 Synchro, but that's in the side deck, and then the rest, and then it's fusions. For the Xyz monsters, we have 2 copies of Totally Awesome. This pairs up with obviously the Bahamut Shark. What's cool about Bahamut Shark is that you can actually just detach one of Shark's materials, summon out your Totally Awesome, and what's cool about this is that it's a negation. That right there is a negation, which is just absurd. But what's even more cool is that you can actually it acts as sort of like a monster reincarnation of sorts, where you could target a card from the grave and put it back into your hand. But if you choose one of your extra deck monsters, it goes back into the extra deck, which is just insane. And this was released in Invasion Vengeance. Funny enough, a really, really old set. In fact, if I remember correctly, this was actually, Invasion Vengeance, which I think the second to last set of the Arc 5 era, if I remember right. It's been a while, but yeah, 2 copies. Next up, we've got the 1 Utopia Double. Obviously, because we are running Double or Nothing, Utopia Double is just going to be busted. Helps you go into Utopia. And you basically have a 10,000 beat stick on board. Next up, we have 2 copies of number 60, Dugaris the Timeless. This card is kind of unique. So the effect reads, you can detach 2 materials from this card, then activate one of the following effects. Skip your next draw phase, also draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. Skip your next main phase, also your main phase 1, also special summon a monster from your grave in defense position. Skip your battle phase of your next turn, also double the attack of 1 monster you control until the end of the turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. You're most likely going to be drawing. You're most likely going to be drawing cards, so it's not too bad, but still, it's a way for you to get even more board presence and even also hand advantage over your opponent. Next up, we have 2 copies of sorry guys, some is caught in my throat. I don't know what the hell it is. There we go. Oh wait, hang on. Sorry guys, my some caught in my throat. There we go. Whew, there we go. Anyway, as I was saying, next up we have 2 copies of Tornado Dragon. This card is basically MST. Don't have to say anything else. We've got the we've got the 1 Utopia. Don't have to say anything else. We've got the 2 Bahamut Shark. I already talked about it. Helps you summon the Toad. Then of course we got 2 copies of Red Eyes Phalaria Metal Dragon. This card not only acts as a Monster Reborn for Red Eyes, but it has an effect as well where it says, while this card has exceeds material, each time your opponent activates a card or effect, inflict 500 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. So, it basically acts as like a Skull Invitation, I think it is? What is it, Skull Invitation? Or something else. It was one or the other. I don't remember though. I don't remember the card, but there was one that had the effect where if you played a card, you had to pay 500 life points. I don't remember the card, but if you guys do remember, let me know in the comments. But this card basically acts as that. We got the number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon because of the fact that you got 4 level 8s in the form of the 3 Toon BLS and the 1 Blue Eyes Toon. And then for the fusions, we've got the Chimerisec Fortress Dragon and the only card that's Awaken the Dragon target. And you guys are gonna ask yourselves, why? Why? It's Awaken the Dragon target. You don't need the materials. You just need Awaken the Dragon in this form in this deck. Destiny Hero, Destroyer, Phoenix, Enforcer. This card is nuts. This card is nuts. Because of its effect. Monsters your opponent controls lose 200 attack for each hero card in your grave. That doesn't matter. You don't care about that. What you care about is the next effect, which is a quick effect. You can destroy both 1 card you control and 1 card in the field. Meaning this card and one of your opponent's big problematic cards. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can activate this effect. Special summon a Destiny Hero monster from your grave during the standby phase of the next turn. Hello, Destiny Hero. The only Destiny Hero in the grave is Phoenix Enforcer. You're going to be summoning him right off the bat. By its own effect, you can summon him back from the graveyard. That's why I chose to run Waking the Dragon, is because Phoenix Enforcer acts as a Waking the Dragon target. But what's even more cool is that you don't have to destroy any of your Toon cards. You could just keep destroying your DPE, and you can continue to bring it back over and over and over again, which is just absurd. Moving on into the side deck, this is my preference though, but of course with your guys' side decks, you guys can choose whatever you guys want. But I am choosing to run the 2 Ash Blossom and the 2 Ghost Bells. These two work hand in hand. They're polar. They're two sides of the same coin. Ash Blossom focuses on cards that are being added from the deck to the hand, being summoned from cards being summoned from the deck, or cards being sent to the graveyard. Whereas opposed to Ghost Bell, it focuses on the graveyard for the most part, which is just insane. So again, Ash Blossom focuses on the main deck. Ghost Bell focuses on the graveyard, and you guys know Ghost Ogre focuses on the field, and Ghost Reaper focuses on the extra deck. So if you were to have a side deck that had all 4 of those monsters, they work. They're like polar opposites from one another. And now for the card that basically sort of counters the pot of prosperity, it is Psy-Flame Lord Omega. But you're wondering, how's that even possible? Let's not forget, even though Ash Blossom and Ghost Bell are hand traps, they're also tuners as well. Let's not forget, they're also tuners. So any one of those plus Toon Cyber Dragon can help you make Psy-Flame Lord Omega. But because that I'm running the second Waking the Dragon in the side deck, it can also be used as a Waken the Dragon target as well. So it's pretty cool. Then of course we got the 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. It's back row removal. Not much I'll say about that. Then of course we got 2 copies of Shadow Toon. This card is actually really good, but it's really bad as well. So the effect reads: if you control Toon World, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of that face-up monster. You can activate 1 Shadow Toon per turn. Yes, you are dealing damage to them, but what's bad about it is that your opponent will have a chance to activate a card like Cosmic Cyclone to attempt to destroy your Toon Kingdom. In which case Shadow Toon will just be useless unless if you have Toon Bookmark in your graveyard. In which case it won't be that bad. So by that logic, it would be Shadow Toon Chainlink 1. I'll say your opponent's Cosmic Cyclone Chainlink 2. Chainlink 2 to destroy Toon Kingdom, and then Toon Bookmark from the graveyard. That's Chainlink 3. So by that logic, Toon Bookmark would protect Toon Kingdom from being destroyed. Cosmic Cyclone would then resolve, but would be just negated right off the bat, and Shadow Toon would resolve automatically. So with this card, it's kind of like a double-edged sword of sorts, which is kind of unique. Then for the traps, we got the 2 Infinite Impermanents. We got the second Toon Briefcase in case if I'll say the Pot of Prosperity doesn't work, or if the Blackstone Legend doesn't work, and you only want to use one copy, which for the most part you're probably going to be using 1 copy, but that's there. We got the second Waking the Dragon. We got the 1 Solemn Strike, and then the second Solemn Warning as well. But all in all, it's a pretty weird deck. But I did do a lot of extensive test playing on it. Still, it's just absolutely insane. But that is going to do it for this video. Again, I will be posting the deck list on my Instagram, so make sure you guys follow me there. The link will be in the description. And that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want to see more deck profiles in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All the links will be down in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail you want to send me, you guys want me to open it up on the channel, you can send me the fan mail through the address in the description below as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.